You impressed me. You really did. But let's get to work. Something...
You got him, 47. Marcus Stuyvesant won't be a problem anymore.
The first big game of 2021 is Hitman 3. It's coming a lot sooner than I expected, and me and Phil, we've got a chance to check out the game a little early, a preview build, and we're just gonna talk about how we feel about it so far. Thanks for joining me, Phil.
Yeah, thanks. I had a pretty good time with it. How about you?
I had a pretty good time with it. I think the biggest question I would want to know going in is like, as the third game in the Hitman trilogy, like what are they bringing new to the table? Like what's different? Like how are they, evolving it? And I would say not all that much mechanically. It's very much more Hitman. That's not a bad thing, but I think that's sort of worth knowing going in, that like you're not going to get a drastically like enhanced. Like Hitman 2, I would say, was more incremental as well, but it did have a couple of significant additions. They added like social stealth where you could blend into crowds. They improved the camera work. By that I mean like the literal like security cameras, not the game camera. And they also added like workable mirrors, and those were subtle changes, but they were noteworthy. This game, I didn't really notice anything all that new. Where it's new is more in, the brand new levels and sort of like setups they give you. Right.
My sense of it was that maybe these levels are a little bigger, a little more intricate, potentially, especially the second one. We can't show any video of that, but we might talk about it a little bit. This game is pulling in both Hitman 1 and Hitman 2. All those missions will be available if you own them already, or, if you haven't jumped on Hitman before this, you can pull them into this one package. In that sense, like it feels like this is all one big game. It can't really change all that much. It is still really good. Like Hitman 1 and 2 are great. I had a great time. I've always had a great time with them.
Yeah.
And so more Hitman is cool, and it's a really inventive couple of new levels. So it has that going for it. It's not changing anything drastically, but it's a lot of fun. I had a really good time.
Yeah. So the first level is Dubai, which is kind of what they showed in the reveal trailer for the game, and it is. You described it as like they watch Mission Impossible and they were like, let's do that, which is always what I love about Hitman, is when you can tell they like watch something. The second level, which is like in a mansion, has like a murder mystery, and you're like, oh, they watch Knives Out. And,
it's like an Agatha Christie novel.
Exactly.
But also Hitman is happening in the background.
Yeah. The Dubai levels is good. It reminds me a lot of the Paris level in the first Hitman. Hitman 2016 first Hitman, where it's like a party setup, but then you kind of have the ability to go like behind the scenes and sort of like navigate like, well, this is where the staff hangs out and this is where the janitors are, except because you're on a giant skyscraper in Dubai, they add this element where you can kind of like get outside the building and you're kind of like shimming up poles and stuff like that, and that's a lot of fun. It's definitely one of the levels where the fun of it is like just figuring out the layout and like where everything kind of connects, and knowing like, okay, this shortcut will lead to here, and kind of puzzling out how everything fits together.
Yeah, it's a really like dense maze-like level, which I really enjoyed about it. It's also really vertical. Any given floor is actually pretty small, and there are a lot of like big open rooms, big atriums, but you're going upstairs a lot. You're trying to find other ways of getting, like you said, in the background behind the scenes areas, in the security wing, or like back where the catering is happening and stuff like that. And they're all like stacked up on each other weird, so it's interesting trying to find your way around. That's like the toughest part, is like I felt like not even just having the right disguise, but knowing what the hell area I was supposed to be in with this certain outfit. So I had a good time with that. Yeah.
And I would say the other thing that I do feel like they've been improving on is, so Hitman always has like story opportunities where they're kind of like, you can technically beat the mission any way you want, but they offer these like little story vignettes with dialogue that are kind of meant to like lead you to a very specific kill. We both did this one where you basically have to like pretend to be a different assassin that like one of your targets is trying to hire, so you can like get a meeting with him. But to do it, they want to give you like a test, and so you have to like take out this journalist.
I hear you're looking for information.
Oh, really? Okay. You know what's happening upstairs?
I know more than you could imagine.
And what I liked about it was it actually added a little bit of variety where you can choose to, you can like actually go kill the the reporter if you want, but you can also like, you know, lead him and like knock him out and like make him just look like he's dead. So like it's small. It's not like, you know, branching narrative, but I like that there's like they're adding a little bit of variety into like how you approach some of these story stuff. And then the second one with the murder mystery also does that as well to an even more extreme. I'm bummed we can't like show more of it, because that like is you basically like pretend to be a detective and have to solve a murder mystery.
Yeah,
it's great. Maybe the coolest thing Hitman's done.
It's such a good idea.
It's so good.
You can catch a little more of our preview on GameSpot.com. I'm going to write an article about that. Haven't done it yet, but I will. And yeah, it's mostly going to focus on the murder mystery, because like I had a great time with that that section of it. It's like playing a different game for a bit, but also you're always thinking about how to do the Hitman part the whole time. and it's really good. It's like, it's great how involved it is. They really went all out on that murder mystery storyline. It's pretty good.
That is the most exciting, and I'm hoping some of the other levels maybe get into that too, where like, yeah, it kind of like derails you. It feels like that's them getting more experimental, where like you're with like mechanics and storylines, and playing that just made me like super excited for their 007 game they're working on.
Yeah,
of like, okay, like this is them like using these mechanics in different ways other than to just kill people.
Right.
Even though I do think the game maybe mechanically isn't anything all new, I still think they're like top of their form when it comes to just like level design and like creative ways to like kill people and solutions. Like it's still like top tier Hitman. So like if, you know, if you're like us and you loved those other games, like I think you're gonna have a good time with it. Yeah,
I think so too. And it really feels like even the Dubai level too, like Dubai is doing it more, I think, with level design than where the second level is doing it more with like the characters and the clockwork of it. But it's still like inventive and cool in a different way, and there are, you know, of course, a number of ways you can solve it. And I didn't get into any of the 40 challenges or whatever, but I'm sure they get ridiculous as well. I had a good time just doing like the one main story mission, which is like feels like the canonical one. Basically, you sneak into the server room, botch hacking the computer, get security guys coming after you. Were you able to hide from those guys? I couldn't hide from them.
I was able to hide from them.
I just
hid behind one of the little servers. I just like waited for them to.
I did that poorly, I guess. So yeah, I ended up just like wailing on them all, and then hiding in a cabinet for a long time, and then like switching disguises 2 more times, finally clearing the area, and then pulling it off where you have to like draw both the targets for that level into a secret meeting in a closed room, and then I just shot him in the back of the head, and it was great. So.
Carl Ingram finally gets what he deserves. Good riddance.
It's more Hitman, and like I think that's not going to blow anyone's socks off, but I think, you know, as we've mentioned, if you love Hitman, it's going to be great. I think you're going to have a good time with it. There's a couple big things that they're adding to the game that we didn't get to check out. One was ray tracing, which is coming post-launch, so we didn't get to see that. I'm kind of curious how that like changes the look, because Hitman levels, I mean, are gorgeous. So like ray tracing could look absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that's the other thing about that Dubai level is like with ray tracing, it's gonna look crazy. It looks great already.
There's a moment where where you go up to like the top, and like the camera like pans out to like show, and it's like it's this beautiful looking, like the floor has like all these reflections, and there's a pool of water, and you can tell that's supposed to be like the ray tracing moment, you know. But then the other big thing that I'm very excited about is the VR mode that they're adding. Right. But that's only PlayStation. Unfortunately, I don't have a PlayStation VR. So
yeah, me neither.
I'm kind of bummed. I
guess I'm gonna have to remedy that situation.
Find a way to, because that looks insane, and I'm so curious about that. I feel like that's going to be the big thing. Well, Phil, as you mentioned, you have a written preview over on GameSpot, talking more about the murder mystery level and all that goodness. So go check that out. And of course, we have plenty of other Hitman stuff. I think we have like a cool little montage put together showing off some fun kills. And of course, the game is coming out real soon, so make sure to stay tuned to GameSpot, because we'll have a full review and coverage of the game. Hopefully VR too.
Yeah.